Welcome to the Lipoedema podcast, hosted by Shell and Tiana. Our aim is to make noise around lipedema and educate as many people as we can about this disease.
Our guest list contains professionals who work in the field and women who live with lipedema. Thank you for joining us. Oh, Shelley, I'm excited to speak to you today. How are you?
I'm good, my love. How have you been?
I've been really good, thank you. I wanted to take the opportunity to have a podcast episode with you just to discuss how you're going at the moment, what's new in your world, especially what's new with you in the lipedema space.
Well, I am currently day 10 of following my nutrition plan. I had seen Kimmy Caddy and done all my blood work and got my nutrition plan. And I spent a couple of weeks just reading through it and getting myself comfortable with it. And then when I'm a teacher, so when I went back for the new school term, I decided that was a good time to put everything into practice. And crazily enough, I am feeling the benefits already. Like it really, like, I know food is medicine. Like we all know that. We've heard it how many times. But when you actually start walking the walk, it's like, yeah, it really is. Like, my pain is less. Like, even my leg pain at the end of the day is a lot less. My head is clearer. Like, I've still got a long way to go. I'm only day 10, but yeah, I'm just feeling a lot better already.
Oh, that's so good in the first 10 days that you're noticing some improvements, because diet changes are so hard to stick to, especially if you're struggling with them.
Yeah, and I think a lot of us in the community have struggled our whole lives, and a lot of women I've spoken to have disordered eating because of that, because we've tried all these diets and nothing works because we didn't know we were trying to get rid of our lipedema fat, not just lose weight. And actually, I'm going to take this moment to segue into, there is a huge difference between weight loss and fat loss. And like, weight loss is you're losing muscle, fat, fluid, everything's getting lost. You don't care what you're losing. Whereas for us, we want to lose fat. And that means not calorie restricting. That means lifting weights, walking, not doing crazy cardio burns. And so there is, and eating plenty of protein. So there is a completely different mindset to just any old diet. And I think, yeah, we really need to focus on that it's fat that we want to get rid of, not weight, it's fat. So I think that's a big thing to focus on.
Yeah, such an important message. I know a lot of the community has been scorned by the scales, and I think the scales don't really give a great picture about what's going on inside. It's literally just telling you the weight of your body to the earth, which really, when you think about it, means absolutely nothing in the scheme of our overall health.
Yeah, that's right. It's all about gravity. And there are so many things that can fluctuate. Like, so it really isn't, it's one tool that can be used as a monitor, but it really, it shouldn't be the only thing. And actually, that gets me thinking. I have a photo. I started strength training, eating protein. This was prior to my diagnosis. I then hurt myself, but I was eating protein. I was strength training. I wasn't doing any crazy dieting. That was all I was really focusing on. And the before and after pictures, I was the same weight. So I will get those pictures, because this was only 12 months ago. And I'll put those pictures up, because it is crazy to think that, like, the scale hadn't changed, yet my everything else just looks so different. It was, yeah. So I think, yeah, we've got to try not to get hung up on the scales. You know, use a tape measure, photos, clothes. That's, yeah, I think that's the way.
Yeah, body composition can really be so impactful if you're looking for, like, those quote unquote non-scale victories. Exactly as you said, use fitted clothing, use measurements, etc. So that's really good advice. Talk to us about your the thing that surprised you the most about your new eating plan.
I think, like, just eating real food. Like, it's just That's all it really is. Like, you know, I don't have to take any special shakes, pills, anything. It's just eating real food and just making sure I eat enough. And the crazy thing is, like, because I'm eating high fat and high protein, I'm not getting hungry. Like, my appetite is, I'm satiated. You know, my body is able to do everything it needs to do in a day with those macros, like working out those macros properly. So that, yeah, and it hasn't been that much of a stretch. Like, I'm not really learning anything new. I'm just tweaking what I was already doing.
Well, that's really good. And how are you doing? How are you going with meal prepping? Because you have a family and you have teenage age girls, so you lead a busy life with your work. How is that going, meal prepping, and what do you do in terms of your family as well?
Well, we make sure that we've always got plenty of boiled eggs in the fridge. We have protein powders here. We have heaps of cheese, cold meats and bacon. My 14-year-old does Brazilian jiu-jitsu, so she's really making sure she has enough protein, and she'll just get out a portion of mince meat and or chicken and cook up her lunches for the week. So she's really good. But because at the end of the day, like, we have a lot going on here, I have to eat at 4:30, which is tricky. And so then everyone else just sort of gets what they want. But there's always plenty of nutritious things for them to grab. And leftovers as well. We eat a lot of leftovers.
Yeah, awesome. Oh, it's so good having bulk food in the house already cooked, especially if you're starting something new and you might get hungry, or maybe not hungry, but not satisfied. There's a very different feeling. Like, you may not be physically hungry, but it's that, do I feel satisfied? And I find that is the struggle with new ways of eating. I often don't feel real hunger, but it's that satisfaction that really gets to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially, like, you know, not eating carbohydrate or very low carbohydrate. There's a lot of that crunchy, you know, salty, and like just changing your flavor palette, and also sweets, like not as many sweet things. You know, you grab a protein bar or something, they're always very sweet. So that's been a big change. Yeah, not having just um sweet, salty things like just to grab, but I haven't felt like them either. But yeah, that is a big change.
Mm, absolutely. So apart from your new awesome healthy, I was about to say diet plan, but I really want to get that word out of my vocabulary, but healthy way of eating, what else are you doing at the moment in terms of your lipedema?
I'm making a conscious effort to get up early and exercise every day, because I know how important exercise is, and I sort of got out of the habit. I love strength training. I love going to the gym, but I just keep injuring myself. So I've opted for low impact, lower weights, and just slowly building my body back up instead of just hitting the gym and seeing how heavy I can lift. So yeah, that's something else I've done. And I had a big long list of supplements to incorporate, but as we've had conversations before, I don't like doing too many different things at once, because then I don't know what has worked. So I decided to just add one thing every fortnight or every 3 weeks. So I started off by adding creatine, because I already had that because I'd heard amazing things about it, and my old trainer had suggested that I have that. So I had that on hand. So I started using that 3 weeks ago, which probably helps with the less brain fog and the better cognition. And I'm going to add in magnesium as well. Like, that's the next thing I'm going to add in. So yeah, they're the other things that I'm doing, as well as my conservative management with pumps and daily MLD, dry brushing. So yeah, all the things that I can add in without adding stress is key for me.
Yeah, I really like the way you've spoken to me about this a few times, the way you incorporate your other conservative management strategies like dry brushing. It's an act of self-love. And I just think that's so wonderful that it's flick the switch from something that you kind of have to do for this chronic, you know, disease, chronic condition, and it's turned into something that it really pays homage, to, I suppose, to your body.
Yeah, absolutely. It's such a good way to connect my mind and body, like, and to just be really present in the moment. Because I look out for, you know, how's my skin feeling today, like for the touch, and also the how am I reacting to it? Is it painful? So it really is that moment to just go, yeah, actually this is working. And I've noticed like my legs are getting, because my legs were really fibrotic and really hard, and they're starting to get a little wobbly, which which I am celebrating, because that means that some of that scar tissue is breaking down. So I'm a bit excited. Not everyone gets excited about wobbly legs, but I am.
I think the lipedema community definitely gets excited about that. I mean, before I knew about lipedema, I was after the, you know, firm look and feel of my leg muscles and arm muscles, but I've come to realize that that's not actually the goal. The goal is to get nice and soft and have that inflammation down and feel a bit wobbly, and that's actually better for us, I suppose. It's signs that we're improving in our current state.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, enough about me, Tiana. What are you up to at the moment? You've been getting some
Oh,
things ready for your surgery?
yeah, I have. So, oh my gosh, where do I start? I guess on this current day, I'm like 4 days out from getting my period. TMI, but we're all ladies here. And this is the part of my cycle where things are quite chaotic in my mind and in my body. So I am not feeling my best. My energy is down, but my anxiety is up. My hunger is up, but my sleep quality is down. And so I'm trying to navigate that, knowing that I'm so close to surgery, but I can't perform at my best to, and it's kind of disappointing because I'm about to hop into surgery and be sort of out of action for a few weeks, and because I'm such a you know, I'm a type A. I want to like do the most that I can all the time, you know, really seize the opportunity, and that's probably not the way to go this week. So I did a really good lower body workout on Monday, but I ended up twinging my back because, like you, Shell, I went a bit too hard. I was a bit too gung-ho. And so the rest of my week workouts have sort of gone down the drain. And when I woke up and it's still dark and it's very cold, I'm just very tired. So unfortunately, that's not on track this week, and neither is my diet, really. I'm struggling with my diet this week, but I am concentrating on getting in enough protein. So if things are by the wayside, the one thing I focus on is getting enough protein by any means necessary. And sometimes that means protein shakes, and sometimes that means like going out for lunch or dinner and opting for a steak. So I'm going out with some old work colleagues tomorrow night, and I'll opt for the biggest steak that I can find for dinner. But yeah, so I have 12 days before surgery, and I had my pre-op appointment on Monday where they went through my blood tests and my ECG, and everything looks fairly good. The one thing is my iron levels are, and I don't know the reference ranges, but they're currently at 20, and for, you know, surgery they want it to be around 100. So they're giving me a script for an iron infusion so that when I go for my surgery, they can give me that infusion during or after my surgery. So that's really interesting that she sort of said to me, your iron levels are fine at 20, but we like it to be around 100. And I thought, well, that's a big difference. Like, how are they fine at 20 but fine at 100. And I was researching the ranges, and the ranges are quite varied, you know, from around 20 mark to about 150. And I thought, oh, that's weird. I'd prefer to be optimum. So something I need to look at and investigate a little bit more. But I might do that post-surgery, because I have to stop supplementing with iron for the week before surgery in preparation for getting this infusion during my surgery.
And you hadn't had
What
one
else?
before? Like never been any issues with iron for you before?
I've always been on the low side of normal, and mostly that's been my heme iron, I believe it is.
Yeah.
So I've always taken like an iron supplement, but only, you know, earlier in life I took a prescribed one. Nowadays I just take like a bioavailable nutritional one, and that seems to keep me in the normal range, I suppose. But as I said, it might be something to look into if I'm only at 20 and, you know, the range is between 20 and 150. I'd like to get somewhere up to the 100, I suppose.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So I just want to take this moment to say to you, don't be so hard on yourself. Like, your body is about to go through this big ordeal. Like, any surgery is a big ordeal. And maybe it needs the rest this week, Tiana. Maybe it just needs you to slow down a little bit because it knows what you're about to go through.
Yeah, I really agree with you. I just find it hard to comprehend. But like, rest is so important. And this time of the cycle, it is so important to get rest. My stress comes from the fact that I'm not getting quality rest, like because my sleep is not great anyway. So I'm waking up at the time that I would usually wake up to work out. I'm not working out, but I'm not able to then get back into a restful state. So yeah, it's just something that I need to work on. Maybe a little bit more magnesium, maybe doing some meditation. I know when I used to do a little bit of meditation every night, it really helped. But honestly, I find it really hard to do that consistently. I tend to drop off a little bit with that, with the meditation. I like to do active things like movement meditation and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, I prefer to go for walks, and trying to lay there and just, yeah, that doesn't work for my brain very well either. So you said that you're going to get an iron infusion. What else do you have to do pre-op? For people who haven't been down this road before, can you explain to them what the next week or so looks like for you getting ready for surgery?
Yes, so the ideal me would be wearing compression every day, which I do already. I've actually this week, because I'm not feeling 100%, have started to wear my compression to bed as well. Right or wrong, I just feel like with all the like weirdness going on with my exercise and my diet, if I can just keep that inflammation at bay with the compression, then that's a good thing. So I've been wearing it to bed as well. Ideally, my diet would be on point, like anti-inflammatory, low carbohydrate, lots of real food, lots of protein. It's a work in progress this week, and hopefully next week I'll feel a little bit better. And I had my MLD, my manual lymphatic drainage massage with my therapist on Monday, and I was really keen to make that happen, because the last appointment last month was unfortunately cancelled because I had influenza B. So I was ready to go, and she is an absolute pro. Lisa from Lymphatic Health and Massage in Browns Plains. If you're around Brisbane South, check her out. So that's good. And I booked in with her the day before surgery as well. So I'll see her again before I go in. And then I've booked in most of my appointments post-surgery. And that looks like twice a week after my DVT. So my DVT, deep vein thrombosis check, is on the Friday, the 4th of August, which is 3 days post-op. And that's when I can sort of get formally discharged back to Brisbane from the Gold Coast. And I'm seeing Lisa on Mondays and Thursdays every week for 3 to 4 weeks, or until she's comfortable with me moving to 1 day a week. And look, by that stage, it's going to be my next surgery, because my next surgery is in 9 weeks after my first surgery. So it'll all go pretty quickly.
That is just so exciting. I'm
Pretty nice.
so excited for you. And so how much time are you taking off work?
Yeah, so I have 3 weeks annual leave for my first surgery, and then I'm pretty lucky in my role. I do have the option to work from home if I need to, and so if I'm not very mobile, because I work. I live on the south side and I work closer to the north side. So that's like walking plus 2 buses, and a little bit more walking. So the stamina required to get myself physically to the office is going to be really interesting to navigate when I'm back from work 3 weeks post-op.
Yeah, that's a lot, because you catch trains and buses and all sorts of things to get to work, don't you? Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
I work like 2.5 kilometers away from my house down one road.
That's so good. It's so handy to work close to where you live. One day I might get back there, but I actually don't mind, the travel into the workplace, and I really do like being in the office. So I'm sure there's part of me that's going to miss that, but I'm definitely grateful that I have the flexibility in my job to be able to work from home if I'm not feeling my best.
That's awesome. So I'm just going to throw something at you. What are you most excited about post-op?
Post first op, I am really excited to see a change in that inside of my knee area, which I find quite painful and swollen. Yeah, I'm excited to see that change, but also on the flip side, I'm trepidatious because I'm concerned that I might not see that change. So I understand that it's a really big mental barrier for us who go through surgery, and even conservative management measures that create a really big difference in our inflammation, that we don't quite see it on our own bodies. But that's definitely something that I'm keen for, and I'm interested to feel the lightness that people talk about post-op. Things like Pilates and yoga, I come from a dance background, so I was classically trained in my youth, but my, doing some of the things in classical dance was very difficult and required a lot of strength just to get your legs up to those positions and hold them there. And so I'm very curious to feel what my body feels like post-surgery.
Yeah, that would be just a sensation that you have never had the experience of. That'd be crazy. And even like the texture of your skin, like I think everything will, but and you touched on it, like the expectations though. Like I think that's the trickiest thing, because you don't know how your body's going to react. You don't know. Yeah, there's a lot of unknowns there as well, isn't there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and what's great is that there's such a good community out there of people sharing their experiences, so I can really lean on them and know that, the ups and downs post surgery is completely normal, and day 4 to 10 is going to be emotionally challenging, and that's okay. And I may look in the mirror and not see a change, but the change will be there because they have taken out tissue. So that there is change, regardless of whether I can see it or not.
Yeah, that's right. And I thought I read somewhere, is it 6 to 12 months before you see all changes that are going to happen?
Yeah, apparently so. So I guess I'm hoping to get my legs done in 2 surgeries. So those will be done before the end of this year, and then I'm going to wait between 10 and 12 months to get my hopefully final surgery, which will be my arms, and an opportunity to revise the rest of my body. So waiting that amount of time helps because most of the swelling will all be down, and we can really see what may have been missed or what still needs a little bit of work.
Oh, that's awesome. And like having that schedule and knowing what you're working towards, and yeah, having those really good conversations with your surgeon like that. Yeah, that's awesome. That is really good.
Yeah, Dr. Teo has been really good. He takes the time to explain to me, which I found really beneficial.
Oh, that is awesome. So where to now, Tiana? What are you've got surgery. Oh, I've got vein surgery next week. Well, it's a procedure.
Right.
It's not, I can't say surgery, it's just a procedure. Just having my varicose veins injected so that they shrivel up and die. so my legs just have my legs will just have good veins to pump blood around instead of having these dodgy ones where it all pulls and carries on. And the funniest thing is, like, and everyone listening, so Tiana and I met a little while ago, and we both had these surgeries, procedures booked in, and they happen to be on the same day, which is just
we
crazy.
Might be in the waiting room together. We could record a podcast episode from the waiting room.
From the waiting room. Too funny.
Coming to you live from Lipoedema Surgical Solutions.
Oh, too funny. Well, I think I will say goodbye to you now, my darling. And I wish you all the best for your surgery, and we will 100% be chatting to you post-surgery during recovery. And I can't wait.
Yeah, me neither. And I'm also excited to hear about of your success with your new way of eating, because if day 10 and you're feeling great, I can't imagine just how amazing you'll feel moving forward over the next 4 weeks.
Oh, yeah, I'm just trying to be consistent, because a lot of us, when you go on these, 6-week challenge or 8-week cleanse, and then, so I'm like, no, this isn't one of those. This is life. This is how I care for myself long term.
That's awesome. Very good. Congrats.
All right, my darling.
We will chat on the next episode.
All right. See you later.
Bye. Thank you for listening to the Lipoedema podcast. Lipoedema and its symptoms vary from individual to individual. The opinions and advice voiced on this podcast are of a personal nature and used for educational purposes.
Please take away from this podcast what resonates with you, and please see your GP or preferred specialist for diagnosis and healthcare. We are Shell and Tiana from the Lipoedema podcast. Until our next episode, bye for now.